Welcome inside the Citrus TV studios for a web edition of Q's Countdown. I'm Kevin Ryans alongside Jared Barton. Syracuse taking on Wisconsin on Wednesday night for the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Syracuse had a great run over in Paradise Island for the Battle Atlantis tournament. They won it all, beating two ranked teams. Your final thoughts on that before we get into this game?
Oh, it was definitely a great performance there by the Orange. I don't think people were expecting to pull out the victory, especially like you said, against two ranked opponents, but that puts them to 14th in the current AP polls. So let's see what happens here down the stretch before we hit ACC play.
A big leap in the polls, like Jared said. They jumped to 14th after being not ranked. Before we get into the game, X Factors prediction-wise, we got to look at how these two teams match up, and it's pretty even so far between the Badgers and the Orange.
Yeah, if we take a look at exactly what's going on, points are roughly around the same. The one stat that really worries me for the Orange is the turnovers. They're at 14.7 right now in the game, in all of their games up to this point. You got to really limit those turnovers because that's going to kill them down the stretch, especially once they get into conference play. But look at the average win margin of Syracuse and the average loss margin of Wisconsin. It's right around the same. So who knows? It might be a 9-point victory here for the Orange.
One thing I want to look at is you talk about how many turnovers Syracuse is commits. You can look at how many turnovers they cause as well. It looks like around, I'd say, they have about 8 steals per game. So you know that they have 8 steals, so at least 8 turnovers for the other team. I think that's going to be big, especially at the top of that zone. You got Trevor Cooney doing really well up there. Also Michael Benajay, and then down low, the big men have been doing a great job, especially Tyler Lydon. So let's look for them to be big game changers coming up in this one. But quickly, let's go to X Factors. Mine, I mentioned it already. Trevor Cooney, he's the man. He's doing a really good job so far, especially at the top of the zone, and not necessarily offensively, but when he goes down into the zone and drives and kicks it out to an open man like a Malachi Richardson or a Michael Benajay, the offense flows really well. I want to see him do more of that and be a threat at the top of the zone. Who's your X Factor, Jared?
X Factor for me is definitely going to be the 3-point shooting. This team, when they're hitting their shots, they can score a lot of points, and when you score a lot of points, you end up winning. Now, Tyler Lydon has been huge for them. This is a guy that is really, really tall, so you'd think he'd be more of a down-low presence, but he actually comes out and makes those shots outside of the arc, which is great. It adds to the Richardson, Cooney, and Benajay firepower already. You keep those 3-point shots up, and things are going to go well for the Orange.
All right, predictions, Jared. Quickly, who do you think wins the game?
Yeah, I think the Orange will pull this one out. 63-61 is my final prediction for tomorrow. I look at these two teams. Wisconsin is not the team that they were from last year, which really plays into the favor of the Orange. Right now, coming off a lot of wins there in Atlantis. They're playing very, very well. Look for them to pull out the victory tomorrow.
As you saw earlier in the screen, the team's a little more evenly matched. I'm going to give Wisconsin the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to keep it close. I think I'm going to go 60-52, my final score. I think Syracuse hits a few threes at the end of that ball game to really widen the margin. Maybe Wisconsin gets a couple of baskets, makes it interesting. But to me, I think Syracuse holds on and wins a close one over at the Carrier Dome. So Jared and I both have Syracuse winning. You can follow us on Twitter at Citrus TV Sports for updates on the game, and you can watch Orange Press Pass after the game live at 11 p.m. For Jared Barton, I'm Kevin Ryans. Have a great night, everybody, and enjoy the game.